for me, entrepreneurship has always been the way.
Investing is important because it's the only way you are going to be able to get rich and wealthy for your family. We can close the wealth gap by working together.
Market Monday is the biggest investment show ever.
My life has literally changed since watching EYL.
When you can make people money and you can add value, they're going to be forever indebted to you.
And I promise you this year, I'm going to make y'all even more money.
Disclaimer, do your own research. Our content is intended to be used and must be used for informational purposes only. It's very important to do your own analysis before making any investment based on your own personal circumstances. You should take independent financial advice from a professional in connection with, or independently research and verify any information that you find on our show and wish to rely upon, whether for the purpose of making an investment decision or otherwise. Let's build our knowledge, our community, and our brokerage accounts. Love is love. Love is love. What's the deal?
Check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How y'all feeling?
Ian in the flesh. What's the? We back. We blessed.
Still alive.
We here.
Still alive.
We here. Love is love. You know we always gonna spread that.
Happy to be here.
What's the deal, my brother? How you feeling?
Man, blessed, highly favored. Shout to y'all. Shout to the all black attire. Shout to Black Effect. All things black. Love y'all.
Everything. I'm rooting for everybody black.
Oh God.
Charlie, how you feeling, man?
I feel blessed. I feel blessed. God is the greatest. You know that at all times. At all times, you know that.
That's
so
a fact.
It's a blessing to still be here and still kicking and still be able to wake up and do my favorite show, Market Mondays.
Yeah, we here, man. We here. It's a blessed day. It is the 17th of August. Happy birthday, Lil London. It's her third birthday. We're going to start with the love. Yeah. Shout out to Ab. Shout out to Shaw. It is our baby girls. And I say because that's family. That's like a real family. Her third birthday today. So congratulations to her. Shout out to Joe. Fat Joe had his birthday yesterday.
Oh, for okay.
Yeah, shout out to Joey. Yeah, man. It's Leo season, man. Shout out to everybody. Mr. 2 weeks out. My boy Jay.
Shout out to my boy.
It was his birthday as well, man. We saw him. That's an honorable dude, man. Shout out to him.
That's a fact. Shout out to the bro, man. So yeah, you know, we get into it. We got a jams-packed show today.
Yeah.
We might talk about a few topics that's trending out there. You know that. But first and foremost, I would like to say, we're gonna get into it. Blackout on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Your favorite show is back, 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. We're gonna be going live. We got 2 guests. We got my brother 19 Keys and we got Van Lathan.
Hey, let's go.
Hey,
shout out to Van Lathan. You know, it was
good convo today.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Anybody catch last week's Blackout?
I think a few people. Blackout.
Yeah, man.
Legendary. Thank you. Thank y'all for tuning in. Respectfully. Thank you.
Oh man, we here.
Love. Thursday at 12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time.
Yeah.
Earn your leisure. We got the great legend Serena Williams. The InvestFest conversation. We're gonna put that out, and that's gonna be on YouTube. That's gonna be all podcast outlets. And we got some other things that we're gonna get to.
Yeah,
for sure. Any announcements, Ian?
Yeah, I want to say happy belated birthday to my cousin Joe McClain. Appreciate you. Happy belated to Andre Drummond. Having an amazing season. And then Stock Club, I'm probably going to do a pop-up session on Friday for us to go through some questions post InvestFest about charting, where the market is going. Check Telegram. To those of you who joined the Red Panda family, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. Check Telegram every single day. Prices will be coming out in a week. And then at the end of this month, we're going to start doing Friday sessions every single Friday. If I made you money, please put yes in chat. And let's have an amazing show.
Yeah. It's you know what? I woke up this morning and I felt that energy again. That I'm back in the lab. I'm back in front of the computer at 6:30 in the morning. You know, InvestFest is such a huge task that you kind of like lose a little bit of the steam that you're so used to. And for the first time this morning, I was like, "Oh, I'm back.
Be back in the saddle."
Yeah. Oh, bro, I'm back. I was up at 6:30 waiting to put a message in EYLU. I waited to 8 o'clock to put it up just because I know like there's like a schedule. Like I know the workout, group is gonna put their thing in. Shout out to my brother Malcolm. He gonna put his breakdown and his good message of the day. I was like, let me just wait till 8 o'clock. Shout out to Steph. She had a jump. I'm like, all right. I'm excited. Let's go. So I was looking at the market. I was looking at the memory sector. We'll talk about it. I was like, all right, boom. Let me tell them what I'm seeing. That energy's back, man. So shout out to everybody in Red Panda. Shout out to all the family. Shout out to earners as well.
Yes, sir. Shop earnyourleisure.com for these memorable teas. Support Black business at all times. We're gonna get to all the topics on the side of the
You're a funny dude, yo. You low key, the dry humor, amazing. Fire in chat for Rashad, yo.
At all times. The side of the page shows the topics that we will be covering. So
okay,
you can see the chronological order in which we will be discussing topics. So stay tuned. Stay tuned.
Even in the build up, can you talk about how important it is to have a cliffhanger, like from a media standpoint, and how to take adversity and turn it into triumph and monetization? Really quick since we're gonna start on a positive business note. All the entrepreneurs out there.
Man, you gotta stay positive at all times. And when life throws you lemons, you gotta make lemonade out of it. And you gotta make the best out of the cards that you're dealt. So yeah. I got to be careful with my words right now because I'm very viral in the moment. If you haven't noticed, so I don't want to get clipped up. I don't want to get clipped up.
No, I'm gonna stop you this episode. It'll go crazy.
You tried to set me up.
It's Ian's fault.
You tried to set me up. You tried to set me up.
As a man, everything on earth is your fault. Yep, I take all responsibility for all things involved.
Yeah,
for sure.
The good brother. Okay, let's get into it because this is an investment show, guys. So I know why you're here.
Yeah.
Well, I know why the core audience is here, but there's a couple people that's not the core audience that's here. But don't worry, we're gonna get to it. We never run. We never fold. We're gonna stand and we're gonna talk. We're gonna have a conversation. But first, we're gonna give you some education that you can actually make some money because that's what it's really about, making money at the end of the day. So what's the investment fact of the week, Ian?
I actually have 4. Number 1, write this down. TOT, which is the bond market, is approaching its lowest level since 2002, and the yield is hit at a level that we have not seen in probably 10 or 15 years. I keep asking everyone on earth, when is the bond market going to recover? And no one has given me a clear answer yet. Number 2, Nike's hit a 12-year low. The stock has officially erased over $200 billion in market cap since the record high. And we were talking before Nike. I have no disparaging remarks regarding you today. But the thing that is concerning is when I'm looking at the chart, there is no protection mechanism to stop the free fall from happening. I mean, technically looking at it, we could fall back to the levels that they were at 2000, which would be heartbreaking on a commercial side. So I think Kanye and Troy need to go to Portland and figure things out with them in Oregon about how to turn the company around ASAP. So if y'all can make that call, please do so. Number 3, since the start of 2025, the tech sector is up 65%. And the same time, the 4P ratio has fallen from 29x to 22x. And the national debt is up to almost 40 trillion with a T dollars. So if we have degradation of the consumer sector, the bond market, which is the debt market or obligations market, that is down. That's been down for 6 years. Imagine if the tech sector was down 6 years. We would have absolutely rage in the streets, right? But there isn't as much talk about the bond market in the same regard, and I think there should be. And national debt is almost $40 trillion. In addition to, we'll talk about it later, the amount of debt and AI spending that is off the books. I think we have some time for concern now, for sure.
I'm going to add to this. And I think this is important. There's 2 lessons in 2 investment facts. The first one is that corrections can be sector specific.
For sure. Yep.
Right. And
that's
I think people need to really understand that. I think, Mike, I hear your computer.
Mike, please cut your computer off, brother. Please.
The idea that a sector like memory can correct and the NASDAQ still at all-time highs, I know it can feel confusing, right? The S&P at an all-time high Friday, the DAP, all these things are running. Meanwhile, last week, you saw it was fighting back. What happened today was a great sign. What happened Friday in terms of closing was a great sign for the memory sector. But when you think about it, it feels like especially if you're invested in these companies, this feels like one of the worst feelings. Like July was a terrible month for the memory sector, but it wasn't true for the energy sector, right? Like
Yeah,
there's certain spots where you have to look and say, okay, well, is this an overwhelming story or is this a sector specific story? And we can see now that July was definitely a sector specific. I also think people need to realize that a correction doesn't mean that the bull market is over. Like that's important, right?
That's
A
a great point.
correction doesn't mean that the bull market is over. In fact, if you look at some of the greatest years in terms of returns, they've had some really solid corrections because that means that growth can now appear. And so what we're seeing in August, and again, this is not traditional, and Ian, I'm sure you can attest, and Shadi could attest to it as well. What we're seeing right now in August is not the norm.
Rare.
It's very rare. In fact, August to early October is usually the most volatile time in the market. July usually is the best time, one of the best months, and now we're kind of seeing this reversal. Midterm year, we already spoke about that since January.
It's usually a bloodbath, yeah. And it's been up.
It's like we should be seeing this. We saw a correction inside of the memory sector, true. We've now seen it start to rebound. Micron crossed over 1,000. It hit some technical marks, and we'll talk about a little later. It crossed some barriers, which was a great sign. We saw SanDisk cross. Nothing has really changed, right? The story is very much the same. Demand is still the same. And in fact, it actually has gotten more advantageous to be a part of it because we're seeing signs that, hey, Apple, you remember that demand that they put? We're going to start using Chinese memory chips. Well, the United States government said, look, I don't think so. In fact, you got to make a decision by this week if you think you're going to do it, because we're not going to allow it. What does that do? That helps the memory sector, specifically American memory, specifically Micron, right? Because it's the leader in terms of high bandwidth memory, which is what Apple is using. That tide is starting to turn as we start hitting different EMAs, right? We're watching those technical levels. We're crossing a lot of them. Western Digital is up. Seagate is up. That memory sector, right? We had a correction and we know what's on the other side of that. So just be aware that when you see a correction, doesn't necessarily mean bull market is over, and it can be sector specific. Just know that.
And even if something has went up 1,000% or 1,500%, is a 22% drop at correction. Like that's the other part when people are so short-sighted. I'm like, some of these have went up 2,000%. A 25% drop is not. I know technically on paper it is, but it should. I don't think it should have been classified as a correction. It really just went back to an asymmetric level where you can get in and ride back to the upside.
Ian, that's the part I want to say. I'm glad you said it. A company like SanDisk has shot up over 1,100%. To see it pull back 45%, bro, a lot of us were there. Let's say we weren't in there for the entire 1,100%, but a lot of us were here since 220, 230, 300. We ran all the way up to 2,300. We've been here for a lot of it. So a slight correction actually should excite you because that means we're testing higher lows so we can get to higher highs.
Yeah. Also, one last point, Rashad.
Yeah.
Holding periods are very important. Don't take it from me. Take it from the Bus family. Final part of the stake has been liquidated out of the fund. 47-year hold for the Lakers. Sometimes the success leaves clues right in front of you. Don't focus on the next 2 years. If you're trying to build generational wealth in our community, we have to focus on 30 and 40-year holds. Back to you, Rashad. My apologies.
Yeah, I'm saying for the people that got in at like a high level, that's when you start to panic. When you get in and then it drops 40%. It's not a big deal for us if we got in, early. But if you got in and your portfolio is down 40%, and then you're on an option call and you're down 80%. That's when.
But even with that, I'm gonna be very honest. Too many of you, and this is my thoughts and my thoughts only. Red Panda LLC and the Rebellion. Too many of you are doing the option first and not the equities. Even if you bought some of a top two in the sector at a high, if you give it a year, you're gonna break the high. There are some investors, some macro funds who only buy near highs. I'm not suggesting it. That's not the way I like to do price discovery. But even if you buy a great equity, one or two in a space only, if you buy at a high, it will continue to make new highs. So yes, you can draw down, but I think too many people are doing the option or the trade first and not the actual equity.
I think you're right. And I think one of the things we have to watch when it pulls back like that is how fast it reclaims some of its technical levels. right? Like if it falls below its 200, how long before it reclaims its 200? How long before it reclaims its 100, its 50, its 72, its 20? How long does it take? Does it do it within 14 days? Does it take 30 days?
Yeah.
Because if it starts reclaiming them, then we know that that was a correction, and now we're still moving in that upward trend, which is important. I think the other piece, and we kind of talked about, so shout out to the EYLU team. They put up a clip from a class where I was talking about, well, when we see pullbacks like that, this is now when the leverage that we've seen people get abused on. Like this is when you look at it and say, all right, this might be
take advantage,
right, for us, right? Number one, have the shares. Number two, do you have a call inside of that equity? And then number three, now if we've drawn down, can we get that leverage on the way back up? So I put a call and shout out to everybody that's been texting me about it. They were in the double leverage SanDisk because SanDisk is an expensive stock at this point. It's at 1,700. I think tomorrow it's going to open at 1,800. We watched that double leverage pull down to $3. $3. Its high, its peak was 33. And so as SanDisk pulls back, the double leverage pulls down. And so if we already have the shares, which we do, and we have calls already long term, we're out to 2028 in a few of them. We have late December 2027 and others. All right, well, here's an opportunity that maybe we can get some time, because I've always, again, make sure you use time as your asset. Oh my gosh, please. I'll give you a story about Coherent in a little bit, but use time as your asset. And there could be some great returns if you structure this and plan this out correctly.
Yes, sir. 5,600 people on the check-in.
Yeah.
Thank you for being here.
Hit the like button and share. We're gonna get into the public address in a minute, but we just gotta, we gotta give some information first. So if you in here for that, then you'll learn for free for the first half an hour.
Yeah, you know what we forgot to shout out?
Who's that?
Our brothers at the marathon team. Shout out to Nip.
Prolific.
Yeah, I seen they was in New York. We were actually out of town when they came to do all the tapings here in New York. Shout out to Sam, BH, the whole team. Yo, Prolific is an amazing project.
Copy Supreme.
It has been an amazing rollout. I'm happy to see them in a good place. I saw they had like a whole family gathering. They had Samantha there. Shout out to Adam. Lauren was there. It was a beautiful thing to see. It was Nip's birthday on Saturday. Rest in peace to the great one.
Rest in peace.
Shout out to the whole marathon team for continuing that legacy. And the project's incredible. So shout out to them.
Rest in peace to my brother Black Sam.
Yeah.
Rest in peace to Nip.
Yes.
Shout out to my brother.
Yes.
Shout out to my brother Black Sam.
Absolutely.
Shout out to my brother Kabi Supreme.
Yes.
Shout out to my brother BH.
Augie.
Shout out to my brother Pac-Man. Shout out to my brother Adam. Shout out to my brother, man, I don't want to forget nobody on the team, but they showed us so much love every time we go to LA.
Yeah.
And, it's crazy because when Sam do so many interviews now,
it's interesting.
But when he did the interview with us, that was unheard of. Like he didn't talk at all. So nobody thought that we could even get that interview. Yeah. And I think that really, opened a lot of it gave him probably even more, confidence and just made him more comfortable. Because even in that interview, he didn't want to sit down. If you watch the interview, he's standing up the whole interview. He didn't want it to even feel like an interview. So that's back. Yeah. That was back when he was not talking publicly at all. So it's just dope to see his growth. It's dope to see him carrying on his brother's legacy and him standing in for his brother. That's
pause.
That's a pause.
Pause where?
To see his growth.
Oh, okay. Come on. All right. Yeah, damn. You got you.
I'm gonna be mature.
Shout out to Stone. Shout out to Jay Stone.
Shout out to Jay Stone.
Jay Stone for sure. Yeah. That was crazy.
Just add a little humor, my brother. I got multiple tools in the bag.
I watched this. I watched it in the same way I think you watched it. Was like, I'm just proud to see him out there as the front of this mission and speaking and running marathons and having a marathon burger and welcoming everybody into the space. It's been a long journey for him to get to this point. But to see him here, that's my Pisces brother, man. So we got to support them. Shout out to them.
And to constantly operate with integrity in the interviews. Even I love that he finally broke down like the offers they turned down for the documentary, and like just a classic example of operating with integrity and showing that you can still win big by operating that way.
And JP, shout out to JP also.
Oh yes. JP running the marathons too.
Futures trading tip of the week.
Yeah, before we do that, I want to give some long-term value real quick. For those who are asking what ETFs to invest in, VRO, VTI, RSP, SPMO, SCHD, TECL are all good ones. Of course, DRAM is great, etc. But futures tip of the week: if you're taking 12 trades on a year, realize I'm gonna give you some numbers. If you get to your 13th trade, the brokerage has a 45.6 chance, or the market has a chance of beating you. So you have a 32.1% chance to win, 22.2% chance to break even, and the casino wins about 58% of the time, according to those numbers. A lot of you don't want to hear limit your trades, but once you go over your allocated number of trades for the year, realize that the house, the market, Leopold figured this out the hard way, dealing with Ken. There's a 58% chance that you're going to end up losing. So for all of my traders and investors, your homework assignment for tonight, based on a number of trades, calculate what happens if you take 7 more trades or 5 more trades on the year and see how much damage it has on your account. So for everyone in Sniper and in Red Panda, I always said if you're a beginner, do 12 trades a year. You have a 22.2% chance of breaking even. If you get to 13, and a 58.7% chance of losing if you get to 16 trades. That's just 4 more, let alone if you're on 30 trades for the year. Put in chat, less is more. And I know sometimes when I tell you to only take 12 or 24 for the year, you feel like you're going to lose, but it's actually to keep the money in your possession so you don't give all your money back to prop firms or to the market.
I'm gonna say this in terms of options because I think it's important. I'm gonna say it every episode until y'all actually do it. Please buy time. Please buy time. I'm gonna give you a prime example. Coherent, which I'll allude to a little bit later. I just want to talk about their story because they reported their earnings last week, and it was a great week in terms of the AI infrastructure trade. Obviously, Nibius and CoreWeave, Lumentum had a great week, and then Coherent. And I was looking at Coherent just because it's not part of the portfolio, but I'm interested in terms of photonics, and I'll break down again in a little bit later. The idea of volume, I wanted to see where the volume was. And I was looking like, okay, short term, long term. What's the short term? Where are all the calls at, right? So if you look at an options chain, you can see the volume. You can also see the open interest. And I like to look at those things because it tells me, okay, number one, where are institutions looking at and where are they actually buying at? And so 350 became a number. At the time, Coherent was trading at like 342, 350 is not far. Let's say if you're doing something short dated, I know a lot of my guys are doing, weeklies and they're doing, bi-weeklies. So I'm like, all right, let's look at this 350 number. Now, this is a prime example. Coherent reported amazing quarter. Amazing quarter. Not just like a good quarter, amazing quarter. They beat on revenue. They beat on adjusted EPS. Their data center revenue, it rose by 60%. They did $1 billion, right? $1 billion more than they did a year ago. I watched Coherent drop from 347 to 305. 305. Now, if you were in that weekly, there's no way to get that back.
Yeah, you're getting punished.
That implied volatility, that theta, that decay is moving at such a fast rate that that's a wash. If you looked at what Coherent did today, this is a prime example of why time is your greatest asset. When it closed today, remember I told you 350 was the number where I saw the open interest and the volume at? Today it got up to 356. I think it closed at 354. That jump from one day, which was Friday, to today is so drastic that if we had another week, right? And Leopold, again, that's the big story.
Yeah, that's a big story.
Individually, we're not doing it, right? We're like, hey, I got to do it out to this week. Please use time as an asset to help yourself and your portfolio.
One of the worst feelings in the world is like taking a trade at like 245 and close at 259 and you lose, and then you go to the aftermarket and it goes in the direction you knew. Brutal. Or you lose on Friday and gotta wait till Monday. Like time is so important. Whether
Sunday
you're
at
investing in a trade,
Sunday at 7, you start seeing the pre-market. You're like, no way.
No way. Time has to be in your favor.
Please.
Time is all we have. Chart breakdown. Are we
Mike.
do that?
Mike, can we pull this chart up really quick? And I shared this with Stock Club earlier today, but I thought this was really fascinating. Not that one, other one. The pyramid, please. There we go. Really quick. We talk a lot about AI spend, but this came out in Wall Street Journal. AI spending is $3 trillion higher than it seems. And I want you guys to look on the right-hand side for the purchase commitments in blue. Microsoft at 228, Alphabet. These are the numbers that are not reported on the balance sheet. Meta at 349, Alphabet at 811, Amazon at 130. So when people are telling you about the circular investment and the concern about AI, I thought this chart was too important to not bring up. If you look on the right-hand side, you can see $356 billion in long-term debt. On the left-hand side, $248 billion in lease liabilities. But if what's not on the balance sheet to me is the most concerning thing. So I know for my chartists and technicians, we talk a lot about what we can see on the chart, but I think this is a great visual example of why so many people are worried about the circular investment and if everything is being reported correctly. And if there's a lot of debt off the books, at some point the chickens are going to come home to roost. Expect a correction in some of these companies as a result. I thought this was really fascinating.
Yeah, that CapEx spend is a real thing. We talked about $1 trillion just from those hyperscalers, and I heard somebody say, let's move away from the word hyperscaler because nobody knows what it means. Just say those core 4 companies that are spending $1 trillion.
Thank you.
Institutional investing, obviously we talked about last week with Goldman and BlackRock coming into the space. But it's tough. It's tough. We saw Meta today, and I know it's not on the topic notes, but I think it's important. They're one of those 4 companies when we're talking about spend. They're at a critical time. And I believe in Zuckerberg, he'll come out from this, but this social media addiction piece that is happening in California, if the resolution doesn't work in their favor, then you're going to start seeing that from state to state, and they may have to change how they operate Instagram, which I know both of them are going to be testifying tomorrow in the case. It'll be interesting to hear what they have to say, but they took a beating today based on the potential that this won't work in their favor and they'll have to change maybe the business model going forward. So you add that into the fact that they're having a massive CapEx spend.
Yeah,
it's an interesting time for Meta. Still in the portfolio. Still think it's going to be a long-term hurdle for me. It's been that way. But this is an interesting time for a couple of reasons. But if you're looking to be in the position, also an interesting time, right?
Yeah.
We've seen some deep pullbacks. And there might be some more to come in the near future, but long term, I think they figure this out.
As a trader on Meta, the thing that's really fascinating, Meta as a Fortune 8 company is gapping down like a penny stock. So in November, it went from 741 to 680.
Yeah. Yep.
Then it gapped again, it gapped up in February, but then it gapped down in May. For a company this size, with its revenue structure, is really, and I'll do a charting segment next week, but it's really interesting to see a company this large gap 30 or 40 bucks as if it's a low float sub $100 million company. So definitely they're going to have to make some changes to their CapEx spend, and also coming off of the metaverse misstep. There's a couple of things they're going to have to correct in the future in order for the valuation to go back up to where it should be.
Yeah. In a world where the majority of the revenue is coming from advertisement, right? Like, you can have products. If something changes in the ad world, I mean, they have 3 billion users, right? Like, they have that at their disposal. They probably have the most addictive product. I would argue with obviously
for sure.
Instagram. How do we add more things to the revenue table in the near future? The glasses kind of underperformed, and we have them, and they're great. I love them. It's just that the general public
doesn't love them. Yeah,
they don't love them at the same rate. And now I'm seeing smear campaigns about them. It's again, it's an interesting time. They got a lot to figure out, but they got a great leadership team. I think they will.
Yeah,
I'll tell you from personal experience, being anti-Meta publicly, mistake. Don't do it, please. Don't. I went through that, so you don't have to go through that. Even though they did change the name from Facebook to Meta. But shout out to everybody at HQ, Hudson Yards. I love you dearly. Shout out to Alvin.
Yeah. Good people over there.
Yeah, good people over there.
Yeah,
100%. 6,700 people on the check-in on this Monday. Hit the like button and share. Still reigns supreme when it comes to Market Monday's dynasty. Okay. Next topic is a public address. Wow, time flies.
Yeah, I would like to take this time to tell everybody. Shoutout, you have the floor.
Yep, all yours, my brother.
All right, let's get into it. It's been an eventful month.
Yes,
it's been an eventful month, from the Atlanta mayor situation to InvestFest to post InvestFest, and here we are. So we're not going to drag this out too long, but it's important to actually we're going to break this down surgical for the audience because it's really important for people to understand. And we're going to have a whole dialogue about this. So let's talk about InvestFest, right? InvestFest, there would be no InvestFest wouldn't be possible without Troy. He's added so much value. Without Mike, AB, Ian Dunlap, Matt Garland, 19 Keys. There's people that if it wasn't for those people, there would be no InvestFest. Wouldn't happen, right? It wouldn't happen at all. There would never be an InvestFest if it wasn't for the people that I just named and other people as well. But for me, InvestFest is a little different because everybody has their own relationship with InvestFest. InvestFest is something that is my idea, right? So it's a little different when you come up with an idea in your head and 6 years later, it's 30,000 people.
Mm-hmm.
That's a feeling that very few people could probably understand, right? So you carry it a little differently. And, you know, I've heard people say like, yo, Rashad's crazy. Potentially. But you got to be crazy to think that what you think in your head 6 years later can be a stadium. With no outside funding, with no sponsorships, with no relationships, with no connections, with no political relationship, just the empowerment of the people and the support of everybody that's working day in and day out. So when InvestFest really a labor of love. That's what people don't really fully understand. Like we promote InvestFest for 1 year. We already planning for next year now. Mm-hmm. We promote it for a year. We work on it for a year. This is all us. We don't take outside capital. Everything you see is us. So from a financial standpoint, this is important for people to understand. It makes no sense for us to do InvestFest. It's a lost leader. The amount of money that we make from InvestFest, right? To be candid, because Market Mondays, I owe you guys a conversation because you are actually family.
Yeah.
Me personally, I made more money on one Micron call than what I made for InvestFest. 10,000 hours, by the way. All of the mental. No, but it's important for people to understand. Okay. We're not making no money on InvestFest because it's a narrative that, well, you guys are just doing it. It's a grift. It's a money grab. There's a lot more easier ways for us to make money. We know how to make money. There's a lot more easier ways for us to make money online or just through stock investing, stock trading than literally doing something for a year with little to no return. This is just a fact, right? But you know who does benefit from InvestFest? The 100 speakers that's put on stage, that speak in front of people that they've never had the opportunity to, the largest crowds that they ever had in their whole entire life. 400 vendors that come to InvestFest that sell their products with no commission. 30 food trucks that sell their food for the whole entire weekend to 30,000 people with no commission. The hospitality, club owners, restaurant tours, the Uber drivers, the event planners, the security, the hotel staff, you name it. It's obvious that as an economic impact, there's 30,000 people. Obviously, 30,000 people didn't come from Atlanta. If you was at InvestFest, you met people from all over the world. And how they measure events is per day. So 30,000 people is really 90,000 people. That's a 90,000 person event, right? So why am I saying this? I'm saying this to say this it hit a little differently when you doing all of this. You're not really making no money. It's a labor of love. You discount tickets. You give tickets away. You discount vendor booths. You give vendor booths away. And you have to hear shit for 8 weeks about how it's a scam, about how we promote scammers. The day before InvestFest, there's a post that goes viral about the top 10 scammers that spoke at InvestFest. Nobody even took the time to even research that Half of that list never even stepped foot in InvestFest ever. 5 people never even came to InvestFest ever. That's on the top 10 InvestFest speaker list. Two of those people, I have no idea why is Pinky Cole a scammer? Because she didn't succeed in business. She did succeed. She had a $100 million valuation. There's ups and downs. Who did she scam? Rick Ross? So you have one person that spoke on a podcast stage, and then you have another person. I'm sorry. What Meek Mill say, lock him up if he ain't perfect. I'm sorry. We have 400 speakers throughout InvestFest history, and we had 2 people that are now in federal indictments. Is that my fault? Is that Troy's fault? Oh, we didn't properly vet. How could you properly vet somebody that did something after the fact? But you ain't talk about 398 people that we gave an opportunity to, that we helped change their life. But accountability is very important. So I'm gonna get to that, but I wanted to paint the full picture, because when you winning, a winner always feel like he losing. So to me, it don't feel like a win. People are like, yo, you just came off InvestFest. The narrative should be 30,000 people, and you're right. But it hit me a little different when I know the work that we all put in to help people, to help Black people, and to see negativity left and right on my timeline, and people talking about, yo, I met this person at InvestFest and they took my website. Now we're responsible for attendees also. And to see people, and then I'm seeing people in the comments that I know personally, that we help, that we put on the show, champion shit like this, narratives like that at InvestFest, the day before InvestFest. It bothers me on a different level. And it's human nature. You know, you got 100 people that say they love you. The one person that comes up and says that he hates you,
it stands out.
It's going to have a more vitriol response than the 100 people that tell you that they love you. But that doesn't make it right. So the accountability is this. No matter how much hate we get, I know that the love is 10 times more. And that's my fault for focusing on negativity over positivity. So for this community, because I'm not talking to social media, I'm talking to the people that's been rocking with us from the beginning. That's Market Mondays. How it came out from the clip, very insensitive. And I know that it could be hurtful to somebody that's like, damn, I've been riding with y'all from the beginning. And how could you say this? So I understand how people could have taken that. And I really do want to say that if I hurt you in that commentary, I truly am sorry for that, because that wasn't what it was for, and it's not who it's directed to. And like I said, that's something that I should do a better job of focusing on the love. But like I said, it hit a little different when you built it. Like, and it's like everybody's got commentary, but it's like it's a little different because we didn't raise money. So we don't take money, we make money. So everything that we put is on the line. So it's a little different when you put your own money on the line. We don't raise no money. We don't have outside investors. We ain't crowdfund for no money. I'm not knocking nobody that does that, but I'm just saying you gonna fight a little different for your shit when it's your child. When it's your child on trial, you're gonna fight a little different for it because you know that you built that from nothing. An impossible feat. It could never happen again. It can never happen again when we had 2 cell phones and we in a basement, and 8 years later, we got 30,000 people, and we never took money, and we never had no real financing behind us, and we never had no political connect, and we never had no real sponsorship. It's a little different. So when somebody try to tear that down for no reason, it hits you a little different. And that's my frustration. And it's like, we're gonna talk about Black people because that's the nuanced conversation as well. But it hurts even more when you see Black people do it, because it's like, you doing this, it don't gotta be said that it's for Black people. You know it's for Black people. You already know that. And that's the part that people don't. I don't never have to say Black Earn Your Leisure, Black InvestFest. You already know what it is. You knew you had you have a safe space when you come to InvestFest because you're Black. You know you got a safe space when you watch Market Mondays. We don't got to say it. It is what it is. Like I said, I ain't have to learn culture. I am culture. This is shit that we grew up in. We ain't got to, like, you know what I'm saying, overemphasize, yo, this is the Black. No, this is what it is. This is what it is. Where I'm going to go? Where I'm going to run? Where I'm going to run to? Who am I run to? You know what I'm saying? Like, who am I run to? I'm not going to be accepted nowhere. So it's like we going to die on the soil before we bend the knee. Believe that, because this shit really means something a little bit different to us. But like I said, accountability is important as well, because you don't never want to disrespect people that support you. And sometimes in your anger, you drag people into it that don't deserve it. And the people that watch Market Mondays, they don't deserve it. People that watch Blackout, they don't deserve it. People that's been rocking with us from day one, they don't deserve it. But I just really want y'all to understand. Y'all talking like, yo, if you don't want to do InvestFest, we don't have to do InvestFest. It won't hurt us financially. I'm just being honest. I'm not trying to brag, boast. I'm just completely being honest. It's going to hurt other people more than it hurts us. That's just a fact. If we have a $70 million economic impact, you obviously know if we don't do the event, it's going to hurt other people more than it hurts us. And that's when people are like, yo, he's anti-black. We've done more for black people than a lot of organizations. I will put us up against anybody. Over the course of the 8 years, we've highlighted 520 black entrepreneurs. We don't got to say it's black. We've highlighted 520 black entrepreneurs that help change people's life.
With no back end taken.
Over the course of the last 8 years, we've made countless people millionaires from watching our show. That's a fact. For free information. We've opened up brokerage accounts. We've changed people's dynamics. We've made people buy homes. We've cleaned people's credit just from the free information that we provided on the show, and that's a fact. So you a political pundit or whatever, and I don't see anybody helping. Like there's somebody, what have you done for black people? That's what we've done for black people. What have y'all done for Atlanta? That's what we did for Atlanta. In 3 days, we have more of an economic impact than some people have in their whole entire life. That is a fact. That's not an opinion. That's a fact. That is a fact. So y'all saying, oh, yo, he's anti-black. How? All we did was help black people from the beginning for free. All we did was help black people. All we continue to do is help black people, but it's extremely frustrating when you see black people, and even this, you see InvestFest with 30,000 people. It's never been done before. It will never be done. It took all of these commentators to start commentating when I said something about something else that went viral. That's what got the attention. Right now, we got 7,800 people in here. It's the most people we had all year. We've been giving information for free all year. It took 7,800 people to come when we talking about some bullshit. That's why I wore this T-shirt. This T-shirt come from my iPhone. I made this T-shirt with my iPhone. This is our first logo. This is my emoji and Troy's emoji. I made it with my iPhone. This shit really from the ground up. This shit really from the ground up, like for real. Like I don't think like people fully understand. Like this shit built from the ground up. So it's gonna hit a little different when somebody's talking some bullshit. You're gonna fight a little bit different. You're gonna get a little. They're like, yo, you're too emotional. Yeah, because it means a little bit more to me.
My baby, yeah.
It means a little bit more to me, and that's the part that you'll probably never understand if you haven't built it. If you haven't built something, it's gonna be hard for you to understand. You're gonna be able to let it go. You're gonna be able to let people throw dirt on your name. You're gonna be able to let people tarnish your shit because it don't mean nothing to you. It's outside capital. It's other people's investments. But when you put your own money up in your own time, it's gonna feel a little different. And the last thing I say is like this. As far as like when you say the black thing, that's why, like I said, we don't never gotta say that we black anything. We've done more for our community than I will argue mostly anybody. That's a fact. Because we did the most important thing and made people money. I know somebody that tried to call one of my friends and tell him like, yo, you need to get, he said, yo, I don't care what you tell me, they made me $2 million. It's going to be hard for me to ever go against the bros because they literally made me $2 million. That was his response. So I'm looking at it like this. It's hard to communicate some things, but they minimize things by language. So when they say, oh, this is the biggest black financial literacy event, what does that even mean? You segmented it in so many different categories that it doesn't mean anything anymore. Say what it is. It's one of the biggest business events in the world because that's what it is. Now that's a different level of credibility. Now that's a different level of sponsorship. Now that's a different level of growth. When it becomes, how it is now as an influencer event, it's a feel-good community event, then it goes on social, it goes viral, it's good for the moment. Nah, and that's another thing. I'm not happy with 30,000 because I want more. Mm-hmm. And it's not, I want more for me. I want it to be one of the biggest business events in the world. So when Julian Brown gets off stage, he got $20 million waiting for him because that's what happened if he was at Davos. Mm-hmm. That's what happened if he was at Milken. So y'all don't understand. It's not even about us. When we have a different lens, this whole shit is going to change. That's the part that's dangerous. Being called the financial literacy event for Black people that's in the Southeast, that's not dangerous. Even the word financial literacy is a dangerous word because they use that as a connotation of charity, of people that are not educated, of people that's like, oh, this is just community give back. No, call it what it is. It's business and it's economics and it's investing. We playing at the highest level possible. That's how we playing it. And everybody not gonna understand your vision. And that's fine. And like I said, maybe I am crazy, but I gotta be crazy to think about some shit that's gonna turn into something like that 6 years later. So fuck it. Roll the dice because we've been rolling the dice our whole life anyway. So yeah, I'm not happy with 30,000 people. I want it to be regarded as the World Economic Forum. I want it to be regarded as the Milken Conference. That's when you're going to see the entrepreneurs really walking out of there with $5 million because all the hedge funds got to come there. Mm-hmm. They don't look at it like that right now. They don't. And the more y'all tear it down, the more you're hurting your own ecosystem because y'all talking about all this black. Nobody put 19 Keys on stage except for us. That's a fact. Nobody put Queen of Four on stage except for us. That is a fact. Nobody's putting Yaki Awaken on stage except for us. That's a fact. Derek Falcon came home from doing a 12-year stretch. He's on our stage. We putting brothers on stage that would never get an opportunity ever in life. And shout out to Isaac Hayes. We spoke. You know, I had some issues with the commentary that he said because I felt like we helped him a lot. But he said something that was really insightful. He's like, yo, I never been on TechCrunch. I never been on. And I said, what you been on Earn Your Leisure? 8 times. 8 times. Between Blackout Market Mondays, InvestFest, and Market and Earn Your Leisure. 8 times. Who put Spurgo on? Who put Miss Business? We seen her business grow. We grew together. That's a direct correlation. Ask her. Ask 19 Keys if you think like ask him how many people book him. Ask him who set the booking rate for him. So we put $500,000 into Black entrepreneurs within the last 2 years just from a pitch competition. Shout out to Paul Judge. So I think we really just gotta have, just a more critical lens of how we look at things. But like I said, accountability is important. And I do want to take responsibility for my words. So I do apologize to anybody that was offended. Of course, we're not going against Black people. Like I said, who am I going to go against? My name is Rashad Bilal. Where am I going to go? Everybody know I'm Black. That's obvious. You know what I'm saying? But it's just frustration. It's on arrival. You think, and that's the thing too. We wasn't made by no political force. We're not elitists. We wasn't made by no political force. We wasn't made by no corporation. We wasn't made by nothing. We powered by the people and empowered by God. So that's another thing. We can never be canceled. I'm sorry. I know it's a lot of think pieces and we can never be canceled because we powered by the people and we empowered by God. And when you powered by the people, when you empowered by God, you can never be canceled. You can never be canceled. Nothing can ever go against you. No weapon shall ever prosper. So,
amen.
I don't want to take too much time. I know some people really wanted me to go full shoddy mode. And the last thing I'll say is this. For the people that took the time to try to pick us apart, I know a lot of it is jealousy and envy and hatred. And trust me, I had a whole script. I was going to go at you guys personally, and I was going to bring up stuff that I know in business, and I was going to bring up a lot of stuff. Because, like I said, when you put your track record, but essentially, I'm asking for grace, it would be misguided for me to ask for grace and not to provide grace, even for people that have no good intentions for us at all. So I'm not even going to respond to the 500 videos that I saw that were purely done to try to destroy us. I'm gonna provide grace for people that didn't even ask for grace, because essentially we all gonna need grace at some point in time. We all gonna make a mistake, and we all gonna need grace. And I rather end it on a high note than go low.
I'm happy to see you there. I'm happy
Great
to see
job.
you. And for all of those who thought that messaging me or calling me was a great way to get the message through to Rashad, I want to let you all know that before you guys have a conversation or decide to text him, we have a conversation because we brothers. So if there's something that I see, we're going to have a conversation, because if it's affecting him, then it's going to affect me and it's going to affect us as brothers and friends, but it's also going to affect business. So we're going to have our conversations. You know what I'm saying? I told him, and he kind of alluded to, protect your peace at all costs. Because you're having conversations with people who don't understand and they can't get a full context of what you're trying to explain in a 5-minute clip. And so protect your peace. So that peace is the most important thing. Obviously, we've been purposed to do a job. We have a mission. We don't have to do it, but we have to do it. And by that, I mean, yeah, could we be in front of a computer and doing things? Of course, but we have to do it because we've been ordained to do it. This is our mission. This is our purpose. And we've been saying that since day one. And we're going to continue to say it, right? Because sometimes your purpose is put there for you to just follow the footsteps. And that's all we've been doing. Him in finance for his whole life, right? Me in education, us together as financial education. And we're going to keep that mission going. And everybody here, we salute you and we applaud you for, number one, executing on information, but taking time out to receive the information, but also bringing other people in, right? Because when we started this, it wasn't 8,000 people here. When we started Market Mondays, we was like, yo, if we get 1,000 people in here.
Yeah, I was happy when we got to 800. Yo,
we've grown and y'all have grown with us. And y'all have made money and y'all told other people about the information. And that's how we scale. And we're going to continue to scale together, right? Like, we're better together. We'll build together. People saying things, cool. Focus on the people that are focusing on us. And that's what we continue to do. Love is love. Y'all know that.
And I want to thank y'all brothers for just being solid. You, Ian, Mike, nobody crossed enemy lines. Nobody broke the ranks. And that's something I can't say for everybody, but the core group, y'all never turned your back, never wavered in the face of adversity. And that's what real brotherhood is about. You're not always going to agree with your brother. Even sometimes your brother going to get you into some shit, but you got to see it through. We're going to see this mission through. And like I said, we're going to die on the sword before we bend the knee, because we believe in this shit and we want to help people. So this is William Wallace. We're gonna wave the flag and we're going to go 3 versus 3,000 if we got to. On some warrior shit.
Bravehearts?
Fuck it.
We come out victorious or we don't come out at all.
We come out victorious or we don't come out at all.
That's it. That's the type of time of war.
Warriors.
I commend your transparency, because I didn't even think you was going to go that route and reveal some of the inside ball. I'll say too, I should have protected you better on Wednesday. That's my fault. We both exhausted, but as brothers, I should have either stepped in more, say, take that shit out. So for that, I apologize.
Nah, it's all good, bro. It's Mike. It's Mike's fault, actually. He's the editor. I told him about that. He's the editor. He's supposed to actually watch the
watch it back.
Protect me.
Too long to lock up, but as a man, everything on earth is your fault. So I'm gonna take responsibility for. Also, and not to make any concessions, Mike, I love you. Also,
he just changed the title. He changed the topic. It's always Mike's fault.
Oh God, new show coming soon. Always Mike's
new
fault.
New topic.
Yeah. So, but also be mindful of the paid campaigns against. Okay, I'm gonna be real. I'm seeing now it go from that to y'all hate Martha's Vineyard to it. Don't turn on Isaiah Martin and Deontay Cowell. I'm begging y'all. Everything black, it seems to go trend and y'all don't like when that administration is paying y'all, some of y'all, to do that.
Oh man.
And I'll say this. The last thing I'll say is I was always taught never destroy something unless you have something better to replace it. So all of you social media commentaries and all of you YouTube
with grace.
No, but I'm just saying from the audience standpoint, right? You really got a question, because it's like, okay, if we go away today, if InvestFest goes away today, how many people are hurt by that? Sometimes we think we hurting the people, but you're actually hurting a whole ecosystem and community with no structure in place to replace it. InvestFest has never been anything like InvestFest before.
Nope.
Ever, never. So, okay, you hate us so much that your number one purpose is try to destroy it. What is in replace of it? You don't have any replacement for it. How many people suffer from that loss? A lot. I met a brother in Atlanta who was doing the AV. He was working back on the AV. He said, yo, every time you come to Atlanta, I make $3,000. He said, yo, please don't ever stop. I make $3,000. That's my rent for the month. I make in 3 days. I make $3,000 in 3 days. He's like, I love this shit. I love when y'all come.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and maybe once that we can have a conversation around what it takes to do events, because even that in our space, it's not cheap. Kudos to Dave Shands and everybody who threw an event. Like, the costs are so cumbersome. They don't even want the information to be out to the public, to be honest. It's crazy. Just on AV.
That's
just on audio visual stage.
That's a fact.
Can we do something?
But you know what, man, we love you though. But I just want to say this though, because like I said, I even my dad told me, Troy told me all the time, you got to focus more on positivity than negativity. Yeah. That's my resolution for the rest of the year and going forward.
Focus on the love.
So gratitude is a major key. I want to say thank you to everybody that watches Market Mondays from the beginning, everybody that's been championing us, everybody that, you know, tells a friend and tell a friend. The hate does bother me. I'm gonna be honest with you, but I'm gonna focus my energy on the love. I'm not even gonna worry about the hate. Y'all make as many reaction videos as you want. Call us scammers. Say the whole thing. Say whatever you want. Say whatever you want. I'm never gonna respond to you guys ever again. And that's my fault for even taking my eye off of the ball. Pause. But thank you guys. We don't take you for granted. And for the rest of the show tonight, we're going to give you as much value as possible so you can make as much money as possible. Shout out to Chris Sain, a real one.
Shout out to Chris
Sain, yo.
Can we put a fire in the chat? Yeah. That takes growth pause. That takes maturity too, though, right? So like to watch my brother mature, to speak candidly, to speak from his heart, it takes a lot. It's not an easy thing to do. I just said, can we do something real quick?
For sure.
Yeah. Can we get back to this money talk?
Big facts.
Let's get to this money talk.
Let's talk about
all money.
Yeah. Let's talk about that. Let's get to this money.
For those of you who are concerned about Micron and if it's going to continue to rise, I would say don't be worried. Next week, I'm going to do a full presentation on pricing. If it gets back down to the 854 or 856.15 level, I really love it. I'm not saying that it will, but it's an area that I'm personally looking for. And then maybe even at, I don't know, 915.75, I really like it. The thing I want to reiterate though is even though it's went up a lot, there's more room for it to grow. And it reminds me of NVIDIA early post 2021 when it had this amazing year. It started to pull back and people will lose faith in it. And I'm like, okay, it may not give you 1,000% return, but there's room for 30 and 50 and 70% runs. So stay locked in. But more importantly, hold these assets for 5 years. A lot of you are being tricked out of your spot by thinking about 2 or 3 years. And you're like, well, I don't have 2 to 3 years. You don't have any other option other than holding for a long period of time, because the truth is you haven't got to the wealth number that you want because you won't hold an asset that means a lot for a long enough period of time. So I think Micron is still incredibly valuable. I would not begin to I've even seen some posts about shorting the memory sector. Yeah. I know Michael Burry is on his.
He got his face beaten last week. He shorted Nibius. How did that go?
But even with that, you never know a person's time horizon.
Yeah.
And also, there's a lot of money in being a contrarian because you can get funding. Not saying the mic is, but you can get funding from being a contrarian. So he may have a short only fund personally and a long only fund, but the traction comes from talking about the shorting of it. Don't short the memory sector. That's my PSA for this week.
I would say I'm gonna go out a little further, Ian.
But here's the craziest shit. Yo, 500 people just left the chat after we got talking about we talking about some shit that really gonna make people.
We only worried about the Congress. They was never here for the right reason, my brother.
People here that still want to make some money. I'm gonna go out even further, Ian. I'm gonna say this. I think Micron is undervalued, even at this number.
I agree.
If you look at its P ratio, if you look at its valuation, it's actually undervalued. And why I was watching it last week was because it was important to see it fully recover. Not back to its all-time high, but at least above some of its EMAs. And so I was watching the 72. I'm like, yo, if it gets to the 72, where's the next? Oh, can it get to its 50? And now you're starting to see consolidation outside of the 400, of the 200, the 50. They're all in that convergence side where it's like, all right, well, if we clear this one, what's next? 966 was that last hurdle for me on Friday. So when we close above 972, I said, look, we're going to have an upward trend happening very shortly here in Micron. Obviously, the news that came from Apple and Lutnick saying that, they don't want Apple using foreign memory chips, that's going to help the stock. The Investors Day from Sanders, which happened Thursday, helped the momentum as well. NVIDIA is going to be reporting next week, which will help the sector as well. We saw demand from CoreWeave. We saw demand from all of the AI infrastructures and plays inside of the space have appreciated. Micron crossing that threshold was the sign for me. I'm like, all right, look, I still have the price target at 1,600 for the end of the year. I still have it there, right? Yeah. And so I'm looking at it. I'm like, well, if we cross this 966 number, well, where do we go? Well, the next stop is let's go retest the all-time highs up at, what is it, 1250? What did it get to in June?
Yeah, 1255, yeah.
1255. So can we get there? I think we can. The momentum is looking like it's headed that way. We have some traction. Again, end of this week could be a big catalyst event as well. I still love it at this number. I've loved it since it was $86. I loved it at $100. I still think we're undervalued based on the demand that we're seeing from every company that's reported. And I think that's key, right? Do you have to look at the earnings report of companies you're not invested in? Well, some people will tell you, no, I don't really have an interest in it, but you should, because those companies will tell you the demand. It'll tell you if the story has been consistent. It'll tell you where we're headed, right? So when we see that GPUs are in demand, or when AMD is saying, hey, our CPU sector is really thriving, all those components are going to need that bottleneck called memory. I'm going to break down something probably next week, the next layer inside of the AI infrastructure, but it's going to need it. And so when we see Sanders rise, right, it felt like they all moved together, and we're seeing that momentum again. We hit a correction, and we know on the other side of that correction is growth. So we had a higher low. Now let's go see if we can hit some higher highs. Obviously, I love Micron. I got a stack of calls inside of Micron. Obviously, I got a bunch of shares as well. I think we're undervalued. I think we're going to higher numbers before the year's out.
I think in September, October, if we hit that 820.09 level, it's a great area to invest, hold for the long term. And the AI spin, the memory sector is probably one of the few that won't be affected. Also, Rashad, I want to tell you, those that leave are a blessing. I'll say for me personally, anybody who was not loyal to me in Red Panda, they did make more money after. If I made you money, please put yes in chat. I can pull up screenshots forever of people who made 2, 3, 4, 500,000, let alone the millions that I had on stage and for all the new Red Panda millionaires. The blessing often is the people who leave.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so they got what they came for. All right, cool. Y'all deserve whatever happens after that.
Well, a shout out to my brother Sticks too, out in Watts.
Hey, real one
a real one from day one.
Yeah.
Comparison tool breakdown.
Let's skip that. I want to do that next week. I want to do the review my portfolio. I think this is a new segment.
All right, let's do the review my portfolio. But also before we go, speaking of Red Panda Millionaire, shout out to the Red Panda Rebellion. We said last week we opened up 25 slots for the annual, summer deal that we do with Red Panda, 3-year access for the price of 1 year. We've extended it for 10 more slots. It was a high level of demand, as you can imagine. So we opened up 10 more slots for 3-year access to Red Panda for the price of 1 year. You can go to ianinvest.com if you're interested in that. First come, first serve. And that's Red Panda is the community that Ian has, where he actually tells you where to buy the stocks, like what price to buy the stocks. They also have monthly calls. He gives you the sniper program for a year, which actually gives you the fundamental startup to actually start trading futures. 10 stocks to buy, the watch list. It's the whole thing. It's the setup for people that's serious for long-term holds to make tremendous amounts of money, because the most important thing in investing is where you buy, not necessarily what you buy. That goes back to the Micron call. If you brought Micron at its high, you're still down.
Yep.
If you bought Micron when we got it, you're up, 3,000%.
Considerable amount of money. Yeah.
So
Perhaps.
it all depends. So IanInvest.com, 10 more slots have been opened for 3-year access. We did 25 slots, so it's going to be a cohort of 35 people. 35 people, 10 slots is open. First come, first serve. Go to IanInvest.com. Let's go to review my portfolio.
Hey, Ian, real quick, Ian. We got the September date for the class.
Let me look at the calendar right now. Shout out to Shauna for always being super dope and supportive. The 20th of September.
All right, let's do this. Let's do this right here. Since this is a family, I want to join that class. I want to come to that class, and you know how we go back and forth.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's do some options. Let's do some futures together, and let's give the people as much value as possible. Can we do that?
Yeah, I'm
All right,
down.
let's
I'm
do
down for that 1,000%.
Hey,
For everyone the last
time
one
we was there. So this is Red Panda got said this before anyone did.
for sure.
That's
a
fact.
lot of coin being made. Yes. So, and for everyone who keep asking about the scholarship, Market Mondays is a scholarship in a hedge fund. That's the part I want to say for the people who was messaging me saying we need a cohort and we need an investment fund. This is the investment fund here already. For the person who asking, is Micron going to go down to 500? If Micron goes down to 500, every other company on earth is going to drop 35%. I don't think so.
Yeah,
but if it does, it's going to be blood on the street.
A lot of blood is going to be splattered. Yeah, Micron at 500 is not something you want to see. So let's not even speak it, right?
Yeah,
but it's interesting when we used to talk about it after they reported in June blowout quarter. We saw the pullback, we saw the correction. The demand has actually increased, right? So when we're talking about open source, when people think, oh, open source, that's going to affect the way that business is done, because no, more people are going to be using artificial intelligence if we have open source. More people are going to mean there's going to be more memory that's going to be needed because there's more users being in the space. I watched, one of the founders of OpenAI this morning on CNBC. He said, "Yeah, we got 1 billion people a month.
Yeah.
We're doing and we're increasing. Anthropic's about to come online. We're going to see their numbers. These are astronomical numbers, and this bottleneck sold out for 26. We knew that.
Yeah.
They said mid 27. Now it's looking like we're sold out till 2028. And so again, when you're sold out and you're in high demand, you control pricing. So I see this continuing to run.
And like inflation and pricing after COVID, once you see an increase of pricing by 3x, a company's not bringing them prices back now. Apple learned this the hard way. That's why I'd be so hard on them. But shout out to everybody at HQ. You could have bought one of these memory companies for cheap, or one of these AI companies for cheap, but now you're kind of being priced out, and now you don't have pole position to tell them what to do. So, no, they're not coming down for sure.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
All right, let's review the portfolio.
New segment. Which one do you want to do?
You know what? Let's start with. Oh wow, my phone just cut. My iPad just cut off. Let's start with this one here. It says, "I'm in Canada. This is my portfolio: Nvidia, VFV, and VEQT. I believe the U.S. equivalents are VFV and VEQT. Our VOO, I guess this is VTI.
Yeah.
Do you like it, or would you do something different?
I like it as a base. Shout out to all the Toronto fam and the Canadian listeners.
Shout out to the shout out to the Toronto family.
Always.
At all times.
I'm really big on hyper concentration, but I do think you need a fourth selection here, not only for diversification, but for upside. Like, I think for the foreseeable future, maybe 3 or 4 years, I think Nvidia is going to be between, let's say, 15 and 35%. I do think you need a company that can grow. A Micron and SanDisk isn't going to be thrown around all the time, but a company that can get you maybe 40 to 50% gain is great. Now, if you never altered this portfolio, life will be fine. You're going to do great. You have very little drawdown to worry about. You'll be fine. But I would add probably one more stock to it to round it out to give you a little bit of protection on downside drawdown.
All right, this is I like this one here. All right, this person says NVIDIA, they have 390 shares, VOO 101 shares, VTI 101 shares, individual equity, they have Robinhood, and then they have DRAM, little like 71 shares, and then 1 share of Visa, which is a new position. What do you think about this portfolio?
Damn near perfect. Like I can't argue. NVIDIA 390 shares. They've had them for a while. Love it. VOO, love. VTI, love. DRAM, love. I think Visa is undervalued, but given where the global economy is, the level of debt, I think they may slide down to like 340, 453 and then bounce up. I will probably add some there, but in terms of how they currently have the portfolio calibrated, I love it. I would give it an A plus performance for sure.
All right, now this one's interesting. This one's interesting. All right, let's start with this. All right, so they have ARM-G, which is double lev ARM. It's a $45 call. They have RAM, which is a double lev DRAM, $28 call. SoFi at $35 call. SoFi is like trending at that $20 line. It's just kind of been there. ASTS, and we spoke about that when we're talking about the space economy and their partnership with Google. 80 shares, Microsoft 30 shares, Google 30 shares, NVIDIA 30 shares, DRAM 20 shares, and AEP 20 shares. What are your thoughts on this portfolio? And then I got some thoughts after you have your.
For sure, because I think we're thinking the same thing. I'm not an options expert, but when I looked, I don't like the collection of tradable assets that they have in that call collection. But more importantly, though, when a person leads with a trading portfolio, that always scares me. For me, the long-term equities have to lead if you want to build wealth. And for those who say, well, I want to build wealth, I just want to flip, you won't be able to flip unless you have a great foundation there. ASTS, not bad. Microsoft, solid. Google, great. NVIDIA, great. AP, great. DRAM. So that portion of the portfolio I like.
Yeah.
But now I need you to guide them on how you would recalibrate that option side. And once again, when you're talking about like the trades are not a portfolio. I think people have recalibrated it, but it's not a long-term asset because once it hits the expiry period, like that's why same for futures. Like I don't care how well you can trade. It's technically not a asset no matter how much money you make. So what would you have them do different there?
Yeah, I would build out my portfolio. Number one, I have the equity, so I do like this side of it. So like NVIDIA, Google, Microsoft, that's a solid core 3. ASTS, I understand it. That's the largest allocation here. But rather than having just random calls here, right, you have ARM, but you don't have any shares of ARM. Like I would build my portfolio of that, right? Like number one, do I own the equity first, right? So everybody knows NVIDIA is my largest shareholder in my portfolio. Google, I have share all the companies pretty much. I have shares of SanDisk. I don't have shares, but the call is so early. It's like a 2:30 call for December of 28. Okay. So you can understand, like I could exercise against shares there. I don't know if I will. But the calls that you do have, 2 of them are double leveraged. And double leverage, right? So you have there's DRAM in the portfolio, but there's DRAM in the portfolio. But when we talked about DRAM when it was a week old, that would have been the time to say, okay, let me perhaps get an option call that is out to next year on it. Then it ran up to 40. We did another one at 33. There's another time. It ran all the way up to 80. A lot of people took their 100% profits. So if you have shares in some of these equities, that would be where I would start in terms of looking at calls for them. So like the double leverage, again, there's a step-by-step guide I gave to what you should be looking at before doing the double leverage. I think most people look at it and say, oh my gosh, I can make the most money if this goes up. But the same is true on the downside, right? And so we just got to be mindful of that. And if you are going to do these double leverage calls, buy time, please. Buy time because expedite on the way down, but also expedite on the way up. So it's important to know that. But I would definitely have ETFs as part of the options calls that I have. If you go back to 2021, my original core ETFs were SMH, XLK, XLY. Then let's build on top of that, right? We got our core four legs. At the time, I had to figure out what the fourth one was. Now we got our core. Now we can put individual equities on top, whether it's NVIDIA, it's AMD, it's Apple, it's Microsoft, it's Google. At the time, it was Tesla. Build on top of that. This one kind of looks like I want to do my portfolio in a way that I have equity shares, but I also want to do calls, and it's kind of like all over the place. I would fine-tune this. But the fact that you have shares, I like.
It's amazing.
I would fine-tune the options, though.
Rashad, what you think about the last one?
I would definitely, I think that for every option that you should have 3 stocks.
That's a great ratio.
3-to-1 ratio in your portfolio. Because like you said, a lot of people is having a portfolio with options.
Yeah.
You like, he's like, I got $80,000 invested in the market. What's your breakdown? I got a $20,000 Micron call. I got a $10,000 0-day option with SPY. I got a Meta call. I'm like, okay, that's 70,000. And then I'm like, oh yeah, I got 10,000 in VOO. That's happening a lot because the thing about it
more than
is like,
people say.
I get it. It's like, yo, I need to get rich now. I need to get rich now. And obviously this is going to give me a lot more leverage. But when you play that game, you can't think straight because you got too much leveraged. And you can lose your whole portfolio very quickly. So it's going to take a little bit longer, but you should always build your portfolio around long-term buy and holds. 3-to-1 is my 30% of your portfolio. I don't know, man. If you got more than that, you're dangerous.
You're gonna be fucked. I'm gonna be honest. They just show with Leopold quiet witching, they can maneuver the pricing around for you to be underwater, and then when expiration hits, it flies up in your favor. It's a horrible feeling to not have enough time on your side.
Yeah, and that is the piece. That's why I led with that as the fact of the week. Like, please make sure you have it, because when you don't, I remember, shout out to Lou Tucker. He told me early, he's like, look, just don't lose your shirt doing this. I'm like, what you mean? He was like, yo, you could lose everything, including your shirt. So be mindful of that, right? So that's why you got to have the fundamental, have your base. That's important. Then if you want to explore and say, hey, I'm already long-term holding, I got whatever that metric is it 10, is it 20, is it 50 shares, is it 100, is it 1,000 shares? Then start looking at, okay, I might do an option call on here that's long-term in terms of option world, right? Long-term is relative, right? Because most of these contracts go out to 2.5 years, but in that space, that's a lot of time. And what you're not realizing is that these whales, right? If you ever listen to the CBOE report, now that's part of a CMEC after 4 o'clock. They're waiting for y'all to do the dailies, and they're waiting for y'all to do the weeklies and the bi-weeklies.
Manipulate,
so they can allegedly manipulate it and swoop the money in, right? We've been watching the news lately. Not only are equities going to be able to be traded 24 hours, options.
From 9 p.m. to 4. It's not that far away. And I'm telling you, it's not for your benefit. As a person that could trade futures overnight for the last 11 years, listen, American Open, 8:30 to 9:30, hard stop. 2:45 to 3 Central, 5 to 6, London Open. Just because it's open all night doesn't mean it's liquidity all night, and it doesn't mean it's in your favor. You're going to get whipped out of your positions. Do not overtrade.
That's what so that thing about the liquidity that's going to come into the space. When people are allowed to do that, and that becomes very speculative because people are watching things after hours and they're like, how do I participate? Why can't I participate? Now, when people can't do it, it feels like 2017 again, where it was like we were watching Ethereum and like, wait, you saw this Bitcoin, and we couldn't sleep because we were just so fascinated that you could trade. You could just trade something at any time of the day, and you can't sleep because when you wake up, you're like, oh my gosh, it jumped 3 cents. And like, if that's what the market becomes, oh my.
And somebody put in chat, you should definitely have different accounts. You put one option trading, futures, whatever you trade,
That's
have a trading account
separate.
and then have an investment long-term buy and hold account. And you should honestly have a few accounts. You should have a retirement account. You should have a retirement account. You should have a trading account. You should have a brokerage account. So don't commingle.
Yeah, and that works, especially with, you know, obviously the things we've been learning with, you know, using your portfolio to your advantage. Number one, E-Trade, and I'll just say it, I don't get paid by any of these companies, but that's my options account. I have a Charles Schwab account that has just individual equity. So I got my AMD shares there, my Apple shares in there, Microsoft shares in there. And then I just have my index account. So like VOO, VTI, that's in my Fidelity account. So those are 3 different accounts. I know we're not commingling.
Separate. Yeah.
And everything's separate.
Somebody asked, what should the new hours be? The new hours should not change. Just because you have more options to trade does not mean you need to fall for the trap. It's a snare. They're not putting out single stock futures and more trading time for your benefit. They're not.
Nope, they're not. They're absolutely not. New ETF alert.
New ETF alert. I want y'all to write this down, put this in your notes. I feel like we're about to have another moment. And if you've been watching ETFs, it's interesting. I was listening to Josh Brown. They were talking about ETFs. And the amount of ETFs that have come online in the past 6 years.
That's insane.
I had no idea, right? So I think in 2021, there were 206 ETFs in existence. Last year alone, 960 were created. And this year, they said that they're going to pass that number. So you're talking about over 2,000 ETFs in the past 3 years, which tells me index funds and mutual funds, that's going to be tough. That's going to be tough because these more products are being created. But the new ETF that I'm looking at, and it's something that just came online on August 6th, goes back into the story where we were talking about this AI infrastructure space and the idea of how information and data is going to travel. And
you picking my baby?
Am I? I don't know. We're talking about photonics. And so photonics really just means how data, it's using light to transfer data, which makes it a lot faster, more efficient. And that is where it's headed in terms of data transfer inside of the actual data centers. So if you look at NVIDIA, their partnership with GLW, Apple's partnership with GLW, which is Corning for those not in the know. If you watch what NVIDIA has invested in terms of Coherent, in terms of momentum, those companies are leading. Now, we saw a correction in that space. So like under the story of memory being corrected, we saw the photonic space be corrected. And now, quietly is kept. We've watched them rebound. Now, nobody's talking about it. But if you look at what Lumentum's done, the ticker is LITE. LIT is the ticker. It's rebounded here, right? We're going to retest 1,000 very shortly. Coherent, I just told you about how it reported and how time, you know, if you were trying to get these dailies or you're trying to get the weeklies, it didn't work in your favor. Coherent closed at 351. It's going to test its new all-time highs. And so some of people looking like, hey, I missed the boat. These stocks are pretty high. Well, they just created a Photonics ETF, right? Write this ticker down, LYTE, LYTE. Why is that important? For the same reason when I was telling you about DRAM, when you said Sanders has run, we can't afford it from an individual standpoint. And Micron has run, and we can't invest in it from an individual standpoint. This now gives you an allocation to a space that is going to lead. It is necessary inside of the AI infrastructure, specifically the data center space, to how information will be transferred. Number one, more efficient. Number one, faster. Number two, faster.
Yeah, way faster.
If you're looking to have exposure to the photonic space, because to invest, there's so many companies, Troy, and number one, I look at, hey, what is NVIDIA invested in? What's in the fund? Who are they spending with? Right? If you look at that sometimes they have that pie chart of the companies they're investing in. Look at them. Synopsys, Cadence. We've spoke about that in detail. Coherent, Lumentum, even SpaceX now. There's a reason why. Now, you could say circular economy, but they are protecting their interests and they're becoming the central bank. So they're loaning out the money and they're loaning out the product and they're getting return on investment. This is a sector, subsector really, that we need to make sure that we're involved in. If you feel like, hey, you know, I got so many individual equities, I don't know if I want to pay $900 for LYTE. I understand the story, but there are other opportunities. This will be an opportunity, just like when we talked about GEV in terms of energy and we talked about Caterpillar. This will be a sector, and this is an ETF that you should have on your watch list and potentially maybe make a call on LYTE. Don't say you heard it anywhere else. You heard it here. It just opened last week.
Yeah.
All right, but make sure you put it on your watch list.
We're both thinking the same thing, but just expressed it in different ways. At InvestFest, I talked about EUV.
I saw you.
So I like it. If we get back down to $21.39, I like that for entry. But I definitely agree. Some of the companies are so phenomenal. They are pricey though. So if you want a cheaper way to do so, I think for those of you who are asking, hey, I need one more to invest in, you can't go wrong with LYTE or my selection in EUV. So great minds think alike.
EUV is
the 500 people missed out on Photonics.
They ain't here. It's all right. They're gonna be like, yo, they're gonna wait till they see it on Instagram.
Yeah, got you.
It's gonna be the voiceover. You know what the next ETF is?
No, they're gonna be the people on Instagram be like, yo, y'all
don't give any value.
Y'all only wait till things go up for you to talk about it.
That was the older you. The newer you is really focusing on the people that are here taking advantage of this moment.
No, 100%. Seven financial moves before 40. I'm gonna say 7 because I seen this question online, and I'll let everybody chime in if you're interested. But real quick, all right, if you're not 40 yet, for the young world out there, you're in your 20s, you're in your 30s, definitely got to have 3 to 6 months of an emergency fund because that's important. I always tell people, even before you start investing, you got to learn to save money. Anything can happen. The average person, I think, is like probably a couple paychecks away from really being in a financial disaster, damn near homeless. So, man, the job market is crazy right now. Nothing is certain. So learn to save. Be disciplined. You create a budget, learn to save, put money away. 3 to 6 months for us expenses. Try to eliminate high interest debt. Credit cards especially. Try to eliminate that. We've got shows on how to eliminate that, snowball method, all types of different stuff. But try to eliminate high interest debt. Stay away from high interest debt. All debt's not bad debt, but high interest credit card debt is bad debt. Maximize your retirement accounts. If you have a 401k at your job, contribute to the match. Roth IRA, we got a bunch of videos about that. If you're a business owner, there's a SEP IRA, simple IRA. Put money away for your retirement. It has, especially if you're not doing the Roth, you're going to get a tax benefit from it. If you are doing the Roth, you won't get a tax benefit, but it's going to be tax-free money down the line, which none of your other money will be tax-free. That's the only money that you won't have to pay taxes on. Build your first $100,000 portfolio. That should be your goal, is to get to 100,000. First goal is to get to 10,000. Get to 10,000. Then you get to 100,000.
Yep.
Then you start to play. Once you get to 100,000, now you got momentum at your back. But the first thing you gotta do is get that 100,000. Whatever you gotta do, you gotta stay home for 2 years. If you just get to the 100,000, that's gonna put wind behind your back, and then you're gonna start to really get in your groove.
That's the number too. I'm glad you said that.
100,000. So, man. SMH. I made a lot of money on SMH. QQQ. I've been talking about QQQ for so long. You know, you got the S&P 500. You got VOO, VTI. Put together your portfolio. Put together your portfolio. Stick with your portfolio. Be focused on your portfolio. Focus on what you invest in. Get to that 100,000. That's vitally important. Dollar cost average every single month. Dollar cost average. I can't say this enough. Dollar cost average. Figure out how much money you can put away and put that away every single month. When you get to tax refund, put that money into the market. Get 100,000. Get your 100,000. Get life insurance.
For sure.
My
entrepreneurs especially.
Yep. Vital.
Okay. This is vitally important because you're healthy 9 times out of 10. Your health is not always going to be there. Anything can happen. When you're young, the premiums are lower and you're healthy, so you can get it. Even if you don't have a family, get insured, get life insurance, get disability insurance, get insured. That is very, very, very important. Create a will and estate plan. Once again, you can always change it. You can update it. The earlier you do it, the better. And the last thing I'll say is create a budget for sure.
Mm.
I'll say 2. Create a budget. Budgeting is the most underrated thing when it comes to
Even if
financial
you're
freedom.
rich, not to cut you off,
Yes.
even if you're rich, live within a budget.
Create a budget and and also create your financial freedom number. That way that you have something to work towards. We need, as human beings, we need goals to work towards. If you have a number, put it on your ceiling, put it on your phone, have it as your screensaver, and just every single day look at that number, because psychologically that's going to force you to work harder, make sacrifices, be more disciplined.
Yeah, I love
That's a
that.
solid list. Yeah, I'll just somebody asked a question. I thought it was a really good question. It said, "What's the difference between EUV, the ETF, and LYTE?" Both are light-based manufacturing. I think you would think of it in terms of what's the difference between SMH and DRAM, right? Where like SMH has a lot of the semis. It has NVIDIA, it has TSM, it has Broadcom, it has Micron, it has Texas Instrument, it has AMD. So it's a broad range, where DRAM is very specific to memory, where it has SK Hynix, it has Samsung, it has Micron, SanDisk, Seagate, and Western Digital, all inside of that. So when you think of EUV, light base from the manufacturing standpoint all the way down. So TSM leads that in terms of allocation. You got ASML, Applied Materials, Lamb's in there, KLA, Corning's in there, and then Momentum, you'll see them at the bottom, like Ciena's in there, Coherent. Inside of LYTE, the top 3, Momentum, Coherent, Ciena, right? So it's very hyper-focused specifically on photonics inside of the EUV lithography machine, light manufacturing companies. So just a couple differences.
Yeah, it's a great breakdown.
Yeah.
Lightning round. This
New
or that.
favorite segment. Let's go.
Oh boy. Ian, this is triggering. All right, so we're gonna do this, right? So we got a lightning round. We're gonna say 2 companies and we have to choose either or. Now, are you giving us a segue here where we can say both, or is it just strictly has to be either or? Because this is triggering.
I made it to be triggering because we were triggered all week. So
7777 only check-in.
Godly.
Magical number. So let's do even next week. We can say which ones are both, but for this week, let's do just
This is like quick time with slime. All right, bet.
Yeah.
All right, so first up, let's go right after it. NVIDIA or Broadcom?
It's a closer matchup than people would think, given my love for NVIDIA. But I'm definitely going with NVIDIA.
I am with you on NVIDIA. Love Broadcom. They got beat up last week, but the story is still very evident when it comes to silicone, when it comes to who's going to be making custom ASIC. They're going to lead. If we see more people going into the space saying, hey, we can't afford your GPU, which I'm assuming most people can't, can we build our own? Can we white label it? Broadcom will be in that space. They did lose a key client. Their Google relationship is teetering a little bit. NVIDIA is just too strong. I would say this. You put NVIDIA in any other company, and I'm taking NVIDIA. So that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Shotty?
Who you got?
NVIDIA.
All right. Number 2. This is a good one. Tesla or Palantir?
I don't want you to invest in the company for moral reasons. I'm anti-war, even though I'm pro-Andoril for personal reasons. Because I like Lucky's story against, coming back from the dead from Meta, etc. But if I had to pick, I really think Palantir has more upside. My stance is not changing. I know some of y'all on Threads tried to do it. Ian told you to invest in Palantir. No, I didn't. I've been one of the few people I actually turned down getting in before it went public.
When did Threads? You gotta look at Meta, because Meta's been pushing. Threads just been going viral. I learned this from my recent situations. These things happen on Threads before they even hit Instagram. So
they're like an incubator, and then they go over from Threads to main stage. Yeah, it's great research ground. So yeah, but once again, I don't want you to invest in it. But if I'm just talking company for company with better potential return, also because I think Elon is more focused on SpaceX, i.e. Starlink. I don't think his love is there anymore as much for Tesla. So for this one, I'm going to have to pick Palantir.
I'm going to agree with you again. I think Palantir, the upside here is pretty substantial in terms of what they're now doing outside of just government contracting, which was kind of the focus. I know they had the high valuation; they kind of got beat up for that. They've had a nice run after earnings here because of where the money is now coming from. It's not solely, hey, government contract. They're getting into the B2B businesses. And so now that is a different model for them. I like that. Tesla, I just feel like Tesla's kind of just floating along. And I just feel like they're just going to get merged at some point in the near future.
Yeah.
And so if this was a SpaceX versus Palantir, I would probably go with SpaceX. Yeah, but I just feel like Tesla is going to be part of that umbrella in SpaceX. And then we, like you said, you've been saying this for a few weeks now. Where is the proof of the thing, right? Because robotics was supposed to have the autonomous vehicles. They had that whole rollout. Kim K was in the car. It was a whole thing. I haven't seen one hit the street yet. And then I just saw that the Cybertruck was rated the worst truck in the history of automotives, which is not a great sign. So I don't know how the Model S is doing in sales. I know China is kicking their backs in when it comes to the autonomous with the electric vehicles from all the brands that they have. Obviously, we've traveled internationally and we've seen it firsthand of what that looks like. Yeah, so the Model S I thought it got canceled, Mike. Appreciate that. Yeah, the Model S I'm just not sure with Tesla anymore. Obviously, we don't think of it as an automotive company, but from the technological standpoint, I think the focus is SpaceX and just be part of it. Who are you going with? Tesla, Palantir?
My moral compass won't allow me to.
Smart move, my brother.
Either one.
All right, let's get interesting here, Ian. Let's get interesting. Microsoft or Alphabet? I want you to start off by saying that's my baby.
This is really this is one of the ones where I would say both, but if I have to pick, even though Google is losing some talent and they're getting some of their talent poached, I may lean towards Google. No, it doesn't change my two tech philosophy, but if I had to pick right now which one is better because of the flub with OpenAI, the Sam Altman. I even remember that Sunday when they had that kerfuffle a few years ago. They brought him back in. Currently at 480.35. Worst case scenario, we could drop back to 404. Both amazing companies, but if I had to just do it like on a Colangelo draft basis, I'm gonna pick Google. I'm not gonna lie.
Yo, we are 3 for 3 on this, bro. I'm taking Google as well. I think. We both agreed. It was interesting at the end of last year that Google would be our pick for the stock of the year this year for a multitude of reasons. Obviously, from the different verticals that they have for revenue generating, but where they're going to in the future in terms of artificial intelligence, what they've done, what their investment in SpaceX, the fact that we just saw Berkshire Hathaway make it its third largest position in the fund is very telling, right? When they don't even like to do technology, right? It's just Apple. They don't even like tech, but the fact that they've added Google
and so much capital to it.
And they see something, they see it too. They see the different verticals that they have, obviously YouTube, Gemini. I mean, all the things that you can think of that are going in this direction. Plus, they have probably the most talented group of engineers when you think of DeepMind.
Absolutely.
Love Microsoft, but I gotta go Google.
And they've had less missteps for all my Microsoft HQ people. I love y'all. That has not changed. Please don't email me. It's been a rough week. But I will say, drawdown. Microsoft's OpenAI relationship, if you dig into that circular investment story, it could be concerning. The one company in a hyperscaler where you have really no concerns is Google. Like YouTube could be publicly traded on its own.
By itself. Yep.
By itself. So they have very little mistakes. And sometimes in a game of life, who makes the least amount of mistakes matters a lot. I was telling my son this past week. I'm like, you're talented, but if a kid turns the ball over less than you, he can be better than you just by not turning the ball over. And I think the thing that Google has outclassed Apple and Microsoft in is not making any mistakes really in this AI race.
Yeah, we used. I mean, we were on here maybe a few years ago saying it was a branding issue, but they were just building as we were saying that, and we spoke to some of the people over there from the TPU, which I thought was a great innovation from them from a technological standpoint of saying, hey, we're going to build within. I know what everybody else is doing. We're going to build within. The advertising business, obviously, we can see where everything is headed. When you're looking at the future of the next generation, where will they be living? They'll be living on YouTube, and they'll probably be streaming somewhere that runs adjacent to it. There's just so much going for it. I think the OpenAI relationship with Microsoft is an interesting one, but they still are reliant on other companies, right?
For sure.
For their compute, definitely for their power. I know the Constellation Energy partnership is important, but they still are reliant. And I mean, they're still enterprise, right? So like, what does enterprise software look like in 10 years? I don't know. Will they be at the forefront of it? I'm pretty sure, but it could look very different.
They have to reimagine in the same way that Meta needs to reimagine parts of the business for sure.
I like that word. Let's reimagine.
Let's
What you
reimagine.
got?
I'm gonna go with Microsoft.
Oh,
I think
Okay.
okay.
it's further down from its all-time high. So as far as the growth potential, even though it recovered a lot,
Yeah.
But you look at, I don't know, it's just Microsoft's AI infrastructure, their investments in companies. They always got a trick up their sleeve. They've been down for a number of years. You got to think that at some point in time they're gonna have a rally, for multi-year rally.
For sure.
And they're leader in the space. They're best in class. I just think that Microsoft is just in a class by themselves in a lot of different categories, and they've been here. They've lasted.
Yeah, they weathered a bunch of storms for sure.
They weathered the storm. They have strong leadership. So yeah, I mean, I think Microsoft is a company that's going to be here for a long time.
Okay. And I'm gonna throw a remix here. So we have Apple, AMD, but I don't even think that's a fair battle, right? Like,
Yeah, I want to be fair.
I think this. How about this though? What if we said Apple, Amazon?
Oh, for sure, Apple. It's no
You're
question.
taking Apple.
No question. I'm going to start to. Well, I've said it, but I took Amazon out of our top 4 in Stock Club.
Oh,
A couple months ago. Do I think
tell.
they have? I just same thing. Drawdown, elimination of risk. The one thing that Apple did do incredibly well is they did not overspend. Now, that was not their sole decision to do so. Sometimes in being inactive, it can benefit you. I don't like that they're not aggressive enough, but what has benefited them is that you don't hear some of these hyperscaler horror stories as a result. Now, I'm looking forward to see. Now it's going to be a battle of the new CEO versus Jassy. That's going to be interesting lineup. But just in terms of a return basis, they've been able to almost act as like a bank of sorts, because they're still getting 30% out of the App Store. They didn't overspend. That's helped. The return on capital is strong. So if I had to pick one, it would be Apple for sure.
This is where I'm going to differ from you here. I'm going Amazon.
Okay.
I think everything you said is true. Again, these are both great companies, and definitely companies you should have in your long-term portfolio. Amazon is tricky. I don't do options on it because it's never worked in my favor.
Yes.
Yeah, it never works in my favor, and I had to learn that for myself. So I'm happy about that, but I do have it in a long-term portfolio. Partly because of the same reason I looked at Google and said, look at all the verticals that they are participating in. Yeah. And Amazon, probably out of all those hyperscalers, has the most verticals. Now, you did mention the CapEx spend. They are the largest CapEx spender by a large margin. But I think they have some very talented leaders in terms of engineering. Obviously, Jassy as the CEO has done a really good job. That they're investing this with the expectation of a return. And I think that return is going to come to fruition. The Apple piece is interesting because we used to talk about it in terms of where is the revenue coming from? We talked about, obviously, Apple Music. We talked about the iPod, all the discretionary things. But the largest portion of the revenue comes from still the iPhone. In fact, it's actually increased. iPhone used to be 50% of revenue. Last quarter, it reported that it's 68% of revenue.
Yeah. Incredible moat.
It
And
is.
if they
It
finally
is.
do something with AI with those phones,
Yes. So
But
they are the highway into AI in a sense where if you're gonna use an app, you'll probably use it on their phone. I just think there's gonna be a new technology that's gonna appear soon, and I don't think we're gonna be holding it. I just don't think we're gonna be. It's not gonna be something that's handheld anymore, right? So like, yes, we have this phone, and the 18 will come out, and we probably have that. But I just think in 5 to 7 years, maybe 7 to 10 years, it won't be something that's handheld anymore. And I don't know if Apple's going to be the person that creates the thing. And so if I'm thinking of long term, I think it's a strong company. I just don't know if the way we use these things here is going to be the same in 10 years.
Instagram got your what Kanye say? Instagram got your bit. Listen, motherfuckers won't put down the phone. I put up a post, y'all can't get rich because you can't get off your phone for 6 hours. Then I had a whole bunch of people. I make money off my phone. Most of the people who make a bunch of money not on their phone all day. I say that to say the addiction problem in the Black Mirror, I don't think that's going to be on the decline. So, and a margin. Yeah. Apple's up 32% for the year. Amazon's up 12.8%. I do think they need to reimagine the product and how that looks as well. But I don't see them giving up that lead anytime soon, and definitely not to OpenAI. I know y'all want to got Johnny and y'all got your partnership and yada yada, but that pen and all that other shit, not as promising.
I thought you was gonna talk about the margins because the margins is very different.
Oh, the margins is
Apple's margin is very different than Amazon's margin, but they do spend more.
For sure.
You want to do one more, then we can get some questions from the audience before we head out.
I got two because we got to do it just because I feel like Ian tried to trigger me, so I want to hear his response. Eli Lilly or GE Vernova?
This like picking between a Ferrari and a Lamborghini, yo. Like you can't go wrong with either. I think with the peptide movement, I think Lilly is going to have an even more robust future. But if I'm going to be very honest and just look at it and take my love of the company away, I'm going to probably go GE Vernova. Indianapolis. I love y'all, Lilly gang, forever, all that. But if I'm looking at just high returns,
I'm with you. I mean, damn. I just thought I knew you was going Lilly, but okay, that makes sense. I'm with you. I think GE Vernova, healthcare will definitely be disruptive, especially when it's health tech. GE Vernova will be vitally important because we don't have enough energy now to power what we're trying to bring to the grid. They play a vital role in
my phone going off already.
and making adaptations to how we get power, and they're doing it from an international standpoint. I'm taking GE Vernova. Last one, SanDisk Seagate. Who you got?
God, it's tough. Both are amazing companies. You can't go wrong with either. I'm gonna say SanDisk. I mean, it's Kobe, Bron, Jordan, Bron. You gonna win either way. I think SanDisk price and power is amazing. I think they have a great moat. I'm really splitting hairs here because either one would be great, but I'm gonna lean on SanDisk.
I'm going with SanDisk as well. We made too much history together. I can't turn my back. I'm just loyal.
Yeah.
Seagate is a phenomenal company. They've actually probably done, if we're talking about the memory space, they're number 2, right? We always talk about Micron, but Seagate has actually had a better year from that solid state NAND memory story. They control pricing, and I think the partnerships that we've seen SanDisk be able to curate, I think they named 11. That pricing power is still going to be there for the next 3 to 4 years. Plus the brand recognition. I don't know how many people like, oh, I have that seat. People know SanDisk even if they don't know SanDisk because they walk into CVS and it's at the counter, or they took a picture in their camera and that's the memory card they've been using their entire life, and now it's a company that they invest in. So I'm going with them as well.
All right. Well, let's get some questions if we can. Put some questions in chat. And while y'all putting the questions in chat, do remember there's 10 slots that's been open for the Red Panda 3-year deal. 3-year access to Red Panda for the price of 1. You get the stocks at the price to buy it. You get 1-year access to Sniper, which is the future trading setup. You get the 10 stocks to invest in now, the monthly calls, community, the whole Red Panda rebellion, Red Panda millionaires, Red Panda army,
For
the
sure.
whole gang. So it was 25 slots due to popular demand. We opened up 10 more slots. So first come, first serve. Go to InvestFest.com. Let's answer some questions from the audience if we can before we head out.
I saw just a good one. Somebody just asked, outside of Lilly, what would be another solid healthcare company that we would look at? I think that's a good one.
That's a great question. Stock Club, I won't give ours away. Outside of Lilly, for the public, there isn't one that I'm personally invested in. So, like I know Hims is cheap and affordable. That's a pharma adjacent, but the pricing structure isn't well. I wouldn't buy that unless it got back down to $9 or $10. So no there, Novo, no Johnson & Johnson, even though the equity has gone up, just the history with cancer causing agents and products, that's a no. Moderna, no. So Lilly's the only one I can currently recommend.
Okay. Somebody asked, this is a good one as well. I thought that, oh, wait, Mike just put up one. It says, if I have $6K to deploy in the market, how should I divide that up between 2 tech, 2 index?
The same way you do the sandwich at lunchtime in fours, like a little.
That's easy. Yeah, man. Divide the capital, put it in.
About 4.
Yeah, put them in.
Oh, somebody said Striker. Yep, Carlos. Carlos, you're back. Mi amigo. Thank you, my boy. Striker.
That's crazy. Yo, I had Striker on my phone. Shouty as my witness. I was like, yo, is he not going to say Striker?
I was thinking Pharma, but I'm tired of forgetting. Yeah.
So somebody asked, and they said, Troy, what's the difference between photo and light? This is important. I should have.
Let me run to that real quick. I mean to be real. Hold on.
Yeah, okay. So when we look at ETFs now, a bunch of them have been created. We can see that. Mike, go full screen for us real quick.
Bathroom break. That's a first. Bladder control.
All right. So it's important to see who is originating the ETF. And so there are some really strong ones. Obviously, when we talk about SMH, we're talking about Van Eck, and that's a strong, reputable, been here for years. When we're talking about XLK, we're talking about State Street and Spider, and we know that. Invesco from QQQ. Those are strong, legitimate, been here financial institutions. We know that. When you're looking at who has been hot this year, I would argue Round Hill is probably the number one. Outside of the staples that I just mentioned, Round Hills who originated the DRAM ETF, which was probably one of the most dynamic ETFs in the history of the market. It was with the fastest to raise $1 billion, just ridiculous numbers. So now Round Hill is who was actually put out LYTE, LYTE, not LITE. That would be the individual company. Photo is by Tuttle, which is, again, reputable, not as known, not as popular. So here's what happens in the space. They might have been the first to come to the market with an ETF that is specifically for photonics. The problem is when an established company like Round Hill comes in, you know what happens to the value of this one? They leave because they watch what they did with DRAM already, and they're like, oh, that's where the volume should go. And so pay attention to that. Who's originated? Direction is another one that's solid. Look at who's originating the ETFs. Look at the volume that goes with that, and that should help you make a decision. Also inside of the allocations, if you look, I think Lumentum is like 14% and Coherent is like 13%, and it's a little bit less in Photo. I just looked at it. It was like 6% and 4%. So take that into account as well.
All right. Oh, man. What a day. What a journey. What a life.
You see the shirt, right? Shout out to Lauren Hill, man. It could all be so simple. It could all be so simple.
Shout out to EYL Africa. Follow EYL Africa
Please
page.
Do.
We got some content. We putting up content. We got more content coming on the continent. Oh man. What do you think about the new Invesco ETFs?
The new ones? I mean, that's a broad question. Which one?
Give a specific one.
Yeah, what specific one are you talking about? Like I said, there's 1,000 ETFs that are going to be generated this year.
Ian's back.
Mike, go back. He's back. there's 1,000 being generated this year to say which one. I mean, pick a sector. Which one are you talking about?
Okay. Well,
Yeah,
man.
and I'll say this too. With so many ETFs being listed outside of Invesco and BlackRock, Vanguard, all of them are not for your benefit. Having too many choices is going to lead to financial decay and decay in your personal life.
Yeah.
Rock with the ones that have been working. Like, trust me, like, I can't tell too much inside ball, but this is going to continue to grow. And the scary part is they want the ETF market to catch up with the number of publicly traded stocks that are available. That's because there's not enough great companies to go public. Be very careful.
Here's the other part. The volume thing is something you should watch, right? Like if Vanguard puts out one, if Roundhill puts, if Invesco puts out one. The other part is that if some of these other ones don't get volume, you know what happens to that ETF? They close it.
Finito.
It's over. It's not like, oh, it's got delist. No, it's closed and shut down. So you just gotta be mindful of those things.
That's a fact, man. It's been a hell of a show.
Rashad, you did an amazing job, my brother.
I appreciate it, man. Shout out to everybody that tapped in. Wednesday, we got it's gonna be a crazy blackout. We got 19 keys in Van Lathan on Wednesday. And we got Serena Williams on Thursday at 12 o'clock. Serena Williams on Thursday at 12 o'clock. So this week is a crazy week. Go to InvestFest.com if you want to join Stock Club for 3 years, 10 slots, first come, first serve. All-time high for this year. 2026 high for this year. Today, we broke that. 8,500 people on the viewership.
Amazing. Thank you to the 500 who left too. I love you. Thank you for your viewership and support. Love you guys.
Oh, man.
InvestFest presentation. My presentation, my slides will be in Stock Club this Saturday. Call this Friday. Look in Telegram. And thank you for the support or hate. Either way it comes. I appreciate you all.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, if you want to watch my public address, you could rewatch this. It was like 30 minutes into the episode. So
you clipping it? You gonna clip your own content?
I know the Clippers ain't gonna clip it. They're not gonna clip that, but I don't know. I feel like I said, I wanted to just talk to Market Mondays. I'm not even really concerned about social media. Half the people on social media, they never really took the time to watch Market Mondays anyway. So if I lost you, I never had you. But I really appreciate Market Mondays so much. I appreciate everybody that watches. Thank you so much. If you guys want us to do InvestFest next year, let us know. We can do it. If not, then
let's wrap it up.
It's been a hell of a run, man. Like, 6 years.
Sometimes if people don't fully appreciate it, Red Panda will tell some, like one person, oh, yo, you canceled the call. I'm like, yo, I'm with my kid. He needed me real quick, but let's go to once a month. Sometimes people don't fully appreciate what you bring to the table unless you take it away.
Yeah.
But shout out to y'all. Shout out to.
Got to leave on top sometimes, like Mayweather.
Shout out to this community. Number one, obviously tapping in, but growing with us.
It ain't sassy, it's real, yo.
Yeah, no, I'm saying they growing with us, but number one, they coming back because they've executed on information. If they didn't execute on information, they wouldn't come back.
Sassy, no, motherfucker. Next week, 45-minute show.
But
no. I said this earlier, right? Either they can win with us or they can watch us win. So it's a choice. Everybody got a decision to make: win with us or watch us win. That's it.
And shout out to Indiana. Shout out to Gary, Indiana, East Chicago.
Yeah.
Naptown.
Yeah.
Kokomo, Terre Haute. All of them. On God.
South Bend.
And for the select few who may not like me, I won. I won. Me, Kenny Lofton, Etwan,
Kenny Lofton, that's a legend.
Glenn Robinson.
Kenny Lofton, legend. Can we get Kenny Lofton in the Hall of Fame, please?
ASAP. He should have been in there. Come on. 219.
And man, if worse come to worse, if you don't like me, there's always Troy in. That's a good thing about partnership, you know.
Shit, I've been done. You know, like when women check out the relationship early.
Oh man,
let the hate get loud. Wrap it up.
I'll tell you this before we leave, man. It's been a hell of a ride, man. And who would have thought, honestly, like I said this to a few people 10 years ago, if I would have told you the #1 trending topics for 4 weeks straight would be a business investing conference and a platform that talks about stocks, credit, real estate, and
Impossible.
finances. And that would be the #1 trending topic for 4 weeks in Black culture. And it would be bigger than sports and it would be bigger than entertainment. You would look at me like I was crazy.
For real.
So sometimes you just got to count your blessings. It's a blessing to even be in this position.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's what we asked for. And it's come true. And it's really kind of amazing if you really think about it. The subject that's been the hardest to actually permeate and the hardest to actually make people gravitate towards has become so entertaining and so much part of popular culture that it goes viral every other day. And we're on your timeline every other day, good, bad, or indifferent. 30,000 people come to InvestFest, 8,500 people on this live. Man, who would have thought? Who would have thought?
Black people love you.
I'm rooting for everyone black.
Even if you're rooting, we gotta support you. Yeah.
Y'all be good,
Hammond,
man.
Indiana, love. Elkhart, Indiana. South Bend.
Shout out to Jackson, Mississippi, man.
Shout out to Zebo.
Mike, fade to black on us, man. We'll catch